Gleb, hello, hello. So I contacted you yesterday because I saw a win from you. I believe it was in the Copywriting Campus. And here we are now, a day later. Apologies for my delay. I had some technical issues, as I told you about, but glad to get this up and running now. How are you, Gleb? Please introduce yourself.
I'm doing awesome, bro. So my name's Gleb. I'm an 18-year-old dropout from Namibia. I've started TRW around 7 months ago, and well, I can honestly just say that it's something that's changed my life drastically.
Mhm. Let's go with that then. In what ways has it changed your life?
I'd say in most aspects, such as physical appearance, mindset, definitely a lot with mindset and how I view the world. Because throughout my months of being in the campus, it actually helped me realize on how money actually works. And actually left my job to focus completely on copywriting. So it was a very big journey, a lot of stumbling blocks, but we did overcome them. So it did sharpen my mentality. I did get in the best physical shape that I've ever been in my life. The relationships around me are also like getting extremely, how can I say, I'm rebuilding them from the ground up since I have brought most of them down to the ground. So I'm extremely happy about that.
Interesting. Okay, so there'll be some ways to go into that when you say you brought them down to the ground. But for now, I want to know, how did you find out about the reward?
I found out about the real world when I was scrolling on Instagram about, let's say, a year back, and I was influenced by Andrew Tate for what he said, how open he was, how he'd say his things, and it really motivated me. And something just clicked. And once I saw that he had a had the real world that he was promoting, I was actually thinking like if I'm going to learn from somebody on how I'm going to start a business, then why not learn from someone who's already at the top of his class? So I just decided it's a risk that it's worth taking. It's only $50, so I just decided to invest in it. So from Instagram then.
Hmm. And what was your average day like back then, and how has it changed now?
Average day back then. So I'd go to school in the mornings and from about 7 a.m. till 1 p.m. Then I'd get home. I was so lazy I didn't even want to do homework. So I just lie in bed. I'd either play video games, smoke weed, and just be on my phone scrolling on social media mindlessly. And I was extremely lazy. So I tried going to the gym and never really saw results. And then up till today, now my typical day is I work around about 14, 15 hours. I wake up at 8, work until like 11, 12 at night. And then I don't have time for social media. Don't have time for video games. Don't have time to smoke weed, because I've seen how all of these different aspects have been influencing my life and bringing me down, so that I can't move forward. And I've always had a dream of making money. And as soon as I saw what I had to change and I took those steps, I started seeing like big results. Like I could think more clearly. My brain fog was gone, and it was just a very big change. And it was hard in the beginning. I couldn't work for a few hours straight, and then definitely Professor Andrew was a very big help in this journey, as well as the captains. And they've really helped me with the mindset. So now I can work for hours on end, don't have to look at my phone, and I'm just a very productive person now.
Mhm. But what about the people who say that's excessive, working that much? What do you have to say to them?
I'd say they can have fun flipping the burgers, because success takes a lot of sacrifice. It's going to take a lot of sleepless nights. I still have them because I'm not where I want to be yet. So I'll stay up an entire night, an entire 2 nights if I have to. It just all depends on how badly you want it. If you really decide that you want to become the most successful person in your family and make your ancestors proud of you, you're going to put in the work, and you're going to have to go without sleep. There's no excuses in this game, and the people that make excuses are the ones that don't get to the top of their potential. So I just think that you need to make the sacrifices.
Hmm. Okay. And earlier you mentioned about relationships that you're rebuilding them now. Are you comfortable revealing, like, what was it that broke them down in the first place?
I'm comfortable with saying it. So back, let's take it 2 years back. I was still a little bit trying to find my way in the world. I didn't know what I was doing, and I mixed myself in with people that I would not mix myself with in now. And it unfortunately brought me down to a place where I'd smoke weed daily, multiple times a day, and I'd be disrespectful to everybody around me, like my mother and my father. I would be an absolute asshole. I'll say it straight, and it's caused a lot of problems within my personal life. I will admit that. But as soon as I started, when I hopped on self improvement, got into the real world, and started taking the necessary steps to improve myself, it was difficult. But now at least I can rebuild those relationships, because I can show up to my mother and I can tell her, I'm sorry, I know I did something wrong and I don't want to do it again, and then I don't do it again. The same with my father, because I was going to a party the one time for New Year's. It was actually the beginning of this year, and we had a pretty big fight, where a physical fight. And after that, I realized that the parties and the drugs are what are going to get me to be a slave for the rest of my life, if not homeless and begging for money on the streets. So that was a pretty big realization that I've had. And since then, I've just apologized for everything that I've done. I take full responsibility for every single one of my actions, and I apologize whenever it's needed. So if I know I'm in the wrong place, I'll say I'm sorry, and I'll just do my best to rebuild that trust.
Mhm. Very, very interesting, and it's good that you found the real world, because I'm sure, as considering how much your life has changed, clearly it's been a guiding light for you, which is again very good to hear. What campuses did you get into when you joined?
When I joined, I was actually only looking at the freelancing campus because something drew me to it. And from the freelancing campus, I actually started a small shoe store for my town, which was just online Instagram. You order, I bring it to you, and that was about it. So I did make quite a few bucks from that, and then I saw that something wasn't really working. But I was still lazy. I'll completely admit that. Beginning of the year, I was still lazy when I was in the freelancing campus. So I decided to try something new, and then I got into the copywriting campus, which then completely broke me down and rebuilt me from the ground up so that I can actually stop being lazy and do the work that I have to do every single day.
Explain that some more for the copywriting campus.
All right. So in what sense, like what we do or how it helped me?
As in, you're saying it broke you down and rebuilt you. So explain that process.
Yeah. So Professor Andrew is somebody who's very straightforward. He's not going to sugarcoat something. He's not going to be like, be your mom and tell you it's okay if you don't do this, if you don't do that. He's a straightforward person. He tells you what needs to be done, and he tells you the harsh reality if you do not take the steps that are needed. For example, we had the Phoenix challenge, and I joined it. And one of the challenges were 100 burpees a day for 7 days, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But every time that someone would not complete a task, or Professor Andrew would see that we're struggling with a specific type of thing, like laziness, on a power up call, he'd tell us, guys, you're being utterly lazy and you guys are going to be flipping burgers for the rest of your life if you do not take a serious look at yourself and decide that you are going to do what is needed. Because if you can say or make these big excuses as to why you cannot get where you want to go, or you're either going to do that, or you're going to look at your life and you're going to look at the steps that you're taking, and you're going to deeply analyze what you need to change to be able to move forward. And that's something that I feel Professor Andrew has done extremely well, because I did not know. I was just making excuses 24/7. I wouldn't go to the gym, I'd make an excuse. I wouldn't do work, I'd get an excuse. I wouldn't do something or help in the house, I'd have an excuse. So for every single thing, I had an excuse as to why I didn't do it. And now every time I don't do something, I take a deep look at myself and I'm like, why did I not do that? And how can I fix the fact that I did not do it or that I did something wrong? So it's not
Mhm.
it's not a, it's not a an excuse thing as to why I wouldn't get a certain result. It's as to what can I change to be able to get it.
Good. Okay, very nice. And in terms of actual skill learning, how has the copywriting course been for you in that type of process to learn copywriting?
The course is very, very easy to go through. So Professor Andrew explains everything very simply. So within like a week, a few days, you're actually already ready to start writing copy and start helping other businesses. So it's extremely easy to go through. I did struggle a bit in the beginning, but now it's since I've actually put all this stuff into practice, it's gotten a lot easier. So I do think that it's easy to learn it, but you definitely need to put it into practice to be able to see the results that you're getting from learning everything,
Mhm.
even though it is like structured into three different sections.
Okay. Let's go into that more. Process for applying. How did you apply it? How many clients did you outreach to? How did you land your first client?
All right, so I put it into practice by just taking normal email newsletters or certain Instagram posts, and then I'd rewrite them and basically do target market research on that specific post or email. And I just rewrite it for that person. Sometimes I'd send it through, sometimes I just keep it for practice. So that's one of the ways. Another way that I'd practice it was to from start from scratch, just pick a random product or a random niche, and then I do some research on that and then write a copy completely from scratch, like for example an Instagram post. Then I do that from scratch, and then sometimes I'd also send that through when I'm outreaching with free value. Other times I just outreach without free value because I was still trying to find my way on how to really reach out to potential clients. And I landed my first client was actually a teamwork from my partner and I, Logan. Logan actually landed that client, and it was very. We were actually stressed out about it because we got a reply, and the person did not seem interested. But first they said, "Will I'll talk to you if you send me the ad." And luckily, we did create an ad for him, and Logan sent it through. And then they hopped on a call. He discussed everything, and that's how we landed our first client. So we do have a small agency with 4 people in it, and Logan and I are the two founders of it. So it's definitely a teamwork. I feel that that's the only reason why I am where I am right now. Because without the guys on my team, I wouldn't be able to push myself every single day as much as I do now. Because I feel like having brothers with you, people that are on the same mission, it's going to motivate you, and it's going to keep you going the entire time. If you don't feel like doing something, you're going to be like, okay, but is my is my partner going to do that? And then you're going to go and do it because you don't want to fall behind. You want to stay at the same level as your team is. So that's something that I've seen that was really really cool.
Mhm. How did you meet Logan and the other two people?
Lo- Logan and Felipe is the third guy. So we're three copywriters. Um, Logan and Felipe I met through the real world. We had
Mm.
some discussions in the chats. Logan had some personal problems that I gave him some advice on, which afterwards we started exchanging DMs. And Felipe, I've helped a little bit with his copy. And then he also sent me a friend request. Him and I started talking back and forth. And then Logan actually offered me, he's like, okay, cool. So listen up. I want to start up an agency and I want you on my team. Both of us are the founders of it. And let's see how it goes. And I was like, 100%, let's do it because we have nothing to lose. The only thing that can happen is we get even bigger than what we would alone. So we started it up, and then we started working with the client that we have now. And then I decided to bring Felipe on the team as well because he's someone that is extremely hungry and he wants success. He's not someone that's going to sit back and let other people do the work. He's constantly there, like, what can he improve as well? And every time that we make suggestions for him, he always takes them and he's like, all right, so where's he going to implement this? So we actually selected each other very well in the sense of tactics and strategies and how we're going to really work together. And I feel like meeting these two guys and actually talking with them and starting this little agency was something that I was not expecting. And I knew that the real world had a community, but I never thought that I'd be able to start a whole agency from scratch just with people from the real world. And I know I can trust them because they've already sent me my share. We've already been doing work together. We already tell each other every single thing that we can to help each other improve. And it's absolutely amazing. And sometimes I really wonder why people still think that the real world is a scam, because I constantly hear that, and especially here in my town. So they constantly tell you it's a scam, but I'm here and I've made more money than I've ever made from the real world.
Mhm. Okay, and this isn't even an uncommon occurrence that guys get together from the real world and either start a business together or even move in together. That's heard several stories like that now. I don't know if you know the guys who moved to Thailand. They used to be apprentices, Legion captains. I think you would have been around back then. Do you remember Saad, Tiger Commander? Or Adnan, I think his real world name was. Oh, okay, okay. So back when Legions were around, there was Saad, and he moved in with a guy called Nikolai, Bellman, and Federico. And they all met within the real world. They were having weekly calls. Then they got so close together that they just decided to move in. So yeah, that was really cool. And who knows, maybe that's where your path will take you as well. If everything goes well with the agency, maybe you guys will move in together. Then that will probably supercharge your progress even more. So
Definitely, definitely.
okay, awesome. Then what would you say was the biggest challenge you faced when you were implementing lessons from the real world?
The biggest challenge I have faced was definitely myself. I definitely have to say myself because my mind was not in the right place. My body was not either. And I was someone that quote unquote procrastinated. And I'd always labeled myself as someone that was depressed, someone that had anxiety, all that type of stuff. And when I got in the real world, it was like, you don't see that in there. People in the real world are there to help each other, they're not there to baby you. And sometimes I think, yeah, okay, I'm not doing good enough. That means I'm not going to make it. So, and then I'd see other people in the campus having the same problem. And people would reply to them telling him, listen up, if you feel like you're not going to do it, or wait, let me rephrase it. If you think you're not going to make it, you already lost. But if you constantly keep pushing yourself, even every time that you fall, you're definitely going to go get somewhere. And people in the chats have really motivated me. And whenever I didn't see any results, whether it was with my mindset, whether it was with writing copy, I always had people there to support me and constantly push me. So you definitely have to take self accountability because you are competing against other people in there. And if they if you're competing with them, you definitely don't want to fall behind, like if they're here and you're here. And that's something that I struggled with. So it definitely helped me overcome myself, procrastinating, being lazy, scrolling on social media, playing video games, like I said, smoking weed as well. So all of that stuff was something, all of those things were keeping me back. And when guys in the chats and especially Professor Andrew told us that that is not the right path, that is not going to help us to where we're going, I decided, all right, let me just leave it. Let me delete all of my social media apps. Let me just get in the zone of just deep work. And a lot, believe it or not, here I am. And it's something that completely changed my life. So I
Mhm.
don't sit around anymore. I don't really scroll. The only thing I do is I sit and I'm like, okay, what can I do today to be able to get to my goals?
All right. And this is something I've been thinking about recently. I think the real world, in a way, will probably soon be able to just replace social medias in general for people like yourself because it has everything you need in terms of like that aspect of social media. You see other people's wins that motivate you. You can post your own hero's journey that people can look at. You have material to learn from that's all curated and educational in all kinds of different ways. How many campuses actually have you gone through? Like what other things have you gone through? You said freelancing, copywriting. Was there anything else?
So I've also gone through the Business Mastery Campus with Professor Arno. And like you said, it can definitely replace other social medias because you literally have meme channels in certain campuses. So you can even go and look for memes. So you don't really need social media. You can talk with other people, you can constantly see what others are doing, and you have the memes which most people are looking for. So I definitely feel it can. And Professor Arno is someone that loves mixing in metaphors that are kind of funny and jokes like midgets about midgets. That stuff cracks me up all the time. So it's so enjoyable to actually watch it. And then so I've gone through the copywriting, freelancing, business mastery. Right now I'm busy with the crypto trading campus and affiliate marketing as well. But the copywriting and affiliate marketing are clashing, so I'm gonna have to pick copywriting instead.
All right. Okay. So more about that client that you landed. What service did you actually offer them, and for how much?
So what we offered them, it was firstly to fix up their website copy because we definitely saw that there are a lot of improvements that can be made, as well as the layout, because it's a little bit all over the place. You can't really understand everything properly. And we offered that as well as the app page because our client is a productivity and habit tracking app. So we offered both of those as well as social media marketing and other stuff, but unfortunately doesn't have a newsletter. So it's just social media marketing and rewriting of copy. And right now, he first paid us 1,600 in two retainers. So first half, like immediately, second half after everything is done. And right now, it's a $1,600 retainer that's going to go up in the next few months, probably.
Very nice. And yeah, that would be some extra experience for you guys as well. And definitely a lot of potential there because with your mindset and the guys you surround yourself with now, there really is. It's hard to even see a limit. I don't see what limit you have. It's I guess the only thing limiting you now would be if you have a perception of like how high you could go. Because realistically, you could scale this to 50K a month easily. That's what the guys are doing over in Thailand. Like minimum 50K a month uh, for each of them. So yeah, dude, you just continue on this trajectory and you'll be great. You have great things ahead. What do you see yourself actually in the future? So since you're on this trajectory, where do you see your life heading in the short term, medium term, and long term?
All right, so short term, I'd give that about a year. I see myself living in my own place because right now I do stay with other people. So I'd definitely be able to get my own place. I'd be able to buy myself a car, definitely that. Be able to help my family because they are struggling and we have been struggling for years now. So that's what another one of the reasons why I did join is to get my family out of their 9 to 5s because my dad is jobless right now, living on his last few pennies, and my mother still works a normal 9 to 5, and both of my parents are over 60. So I definitely want to be able to get them out of their jobs so that they can retire. I want to retire them as soon as possible, and those are short-term goals. I don't really have a lot of them. The main one is definitely helping my parents. Then medium term, I'd say I'd want to move to Dubai because just because of safety and the lifestyle that they have there is absolutely beautiful, and that's something that I've been dreaming about since I was a little boy, and I finally feel like I can actually go and achieve my childhood dreams now with the real world. So that'd be medium term is definitely get to a country that's way more advanced and has a lot more money moving, and long term I definitely want to be able to go where I want when I want. I want to be able to live life on my own terms, financial freedom, time freedom. I'll never stop working though, because regardless of how old you are, you're going to work. And I definitely see myself still trading, still doing copywriting with my agency, and the other stuff. I'll still get further ahead. But for now, long term, I think financial freedom, location freedom, big agency scaled up to I don't know, few million a year,
Mhm.
and all of us driving around in supercars, all of us being brothers together, getting into the war room, and yeah, I just want to be with people that I that I can really connect with, because that's the most important aspect for me, is definitely get with a group of people that are on the exact same life path as I am.
Huge. Okay, love to hear that. And is there any more to add on what kind of an impact Tate has had on you?
Well, I can actually go on for hours about that. Andrew Tate has definitely had a very, very big influence on how I would think. Because usually, I'd start this with women, because a year ago, I was extremely scared to go up to any girl. Like, I would literally start shivering if I had to go and talk to one. And if we take it now, I have a beautiful girlfriend that respects me, and I've taken his advice on how a relationship should actually be. And it's really helped us a lot. We haven't argued with in 2 months, and that's how long we've been together right now. And I wasn't really looking for something, but it just came across my path, and I took the opportunity and definitely started implementing what Andrew Tate has said. And it's benefited the both of us, because she also watches him. And I feel like that's how her and I really connect, because she understands what he's saying and I believe in it. So she's going to adhere to every single rule that I actually place. And the number one thing that I cannot miss is the fact that Andrew Tate has helped me find my path with God. And if that would not have happened, I do not think I would be here today, because I was someone that wanted to take my own life. And when I found him, and he explained how we actually need God, it completely changed my life. I gave my life to God. I got baptized. I said, "All right, I'm done being an atheist. I'm going to go and actually look at what is true." And I decided that I'm going to start believing in God again. So he's had a very, very, very big impact on my life. And if I could one day, I definitely have to give a huge thank you to him for everything that he's done for the world, for me. And I have the utmost respect for him. And what happens to him right now is, or what has been happening, is complete and utter bullshit. Because we have people that are killing themselves every single day because of what the world is saying. And when he comes along and he tries to help, they try and silence him. And I'm extremely fortunate to have found him before they started doing all of this stuff. So, yeah.
Very well said, Gleb. Completely agree with you. And yeah, that came straight from the heart. Damn. Very well spoken. Okay. And beautifully said. Okay. So I guess we can wrap up with, for people who are unsure about joining the real world, because maybe they think it could be a scam, what advice would you have to them?
My advice would be, you have absolutely nothing to lose, because you're going to spend $50 in any case, whether it's on coffee, whether it's on food, you're anyways going to spend it. So why not invest $50 and see how it goes for a few months? You're not going to be losing that much. It's really, and for everything that you are getting, they could easily price this at 50,000 for what they're giving us. And I'd say they have nothing to lose, because they can take me as an example. I live in Namibia, which is a neighboring country to South Africa. We have a corrupt government. Our economy is fucked. Everything is going downhill here and in South Africa. And I'm still able to make more than any person my age makes right now in this country, because I've made, let's say, in my money, or in our currency, I've made 11,000 in 2 weeks, and that's the most that I've ever made in my life. So they can keep making excuses. If you don't want to join the real world, go ahead, have fun living a life of a 9 to 5. But I will not accept that for myself or for my family.
Hmm. There's so much passion behind your words, because again, you truly believe them, and it's clearly conveyed, and you're very well spoken. So it's been a pleasure speaking to you. For people who want to find out more about you or contact you, where can they do so?
So they can go to my website at glebblau.crd.co. That is my website. If you want to go and find me on social media, that would be real Gleb Blau. We'll also link that in the description, I hope.
Yep. Yeah, we'll do.
And yeah, those are the two main platforms that I'm on.
Okay, cool. You said social media. What social media?
Instagram, sorry, man.
Okay, Instagram. Got it. So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll add those to the description of the video. And Gleb, look forward to the follow-up interview because you have big things ahead. So I will need to hold you accountable to it and to check in on your progress. That will be in about 3 to 4 months that we'll do it. So yeah, and there's your target for making sure you achieve things by then.
Taking it as a challenge, brother.
Awesome. All right. So all the best to you. Till next time.
Thanks to you as well, brother. Till next time.